Hi everyone, my name is Dorota Trapp. I'm a qualified nutritionist from Trapp Cooking School. Today I would love to show you how to make a sauerkraut. There are many recipes out there, but you are dealing here with an expert. Besides owning a cooking school and being a nutritionist, the reason why I am qualified to show you this dish is because that I'm Polish. And in Poland, sauerkraut is one of our staple foods. It is in fact almost a holy food. We eat it with just about everything and all the year around, and I have had some great experience in sauerkraut making. Picture me 10 years old on my grandparents' farm in the barns, jumping in a barrel full of fresh cabbage. I'm without the shoes, laughing hard and trying to get the juice out of the fresh cabbage. Mission impossible? Well, we took turns with my cousins and ran competitions to get the job done. And those are some of the most exciting times in my life, trust me. The sour flavor of sauerkraut comes from the process of lactofermentation, similar to the pickling of cucumbers, but instead of soaking the cabbage in a vinegary brine solution, sauerkraut preparation requires only salt and the lactic acid bacteria already present in raw cabbage. Sauerkraut produces amazing amounts of lactobacilli. To learn about probiotics, check out my health tip video on the subject. The main ingredient of sauerkraut is cabbage and salt. To every 1 kilogram of cabbage, use 15 grams with 1 tablespoon of salt. Use a good quality unrefined salt, rich in minerals such as Celtic sea salt. If you make sauerkraut often, it is worth investing in good quality fermenting crock pot, which will make sauerkraut making a breeze. We begin with washing the cabbage thoroughly. And removing the outer leaves. We can keep some of the bigger leaves for later on. But the idea is to cut the big leaves and later on I'll be slicing the rest. So there is your cabbage. It's washed and I removed the outer leaves. I want you to buy the biggest cabbage you can get, so the best season for that is during the colder months. So now I'm going to slice it very finely. You can use knife or you can use slicer, whatever you have available. So that's gonna take a few minutes till it's ready. So there it is, you finely chopped cabbage. Now I will try to squeeze some liquid out of it. I can use my hands and that will be ideal. You've got some lactic acid on your palms and this will go into the cabbage, but cabbage also has a lactic acid and that initiates the fermentation. You can help yourself as well with rolling pin and do this motion over the next 15 minutes. So there it is. You can see that it's glossy and there is more liquid. I'm still trying to put my hands through it to add that lactic acid. And now I will wanna season it. So I'm using some salt. So as the rule of thumb was 1 tablespoon of salt into a kilogram of sauerkraut. But if you really think about it, it has to be salty to your taste. So don't add too much, because it's gonna be too salty when it's ready. Just add as much salt as it feels right to you. Really mix it well. Now this is the traditional sauerkraut, so I'm not adding anything but salt. If you want to salt as well, as I might add a little bit of a flavoring, but you can mix it with other vegetables, autumn vegetables, root vegetables such as carrots. So if you want to make it look a little bit more fancy, I would suggest slicing carrot or grinding carrot and adding it through. You can put some peppercorns. So how is this now? That's about right. So this is for me ready. I'm gonna add some seasoning. You can use fennel or you can use bay leaves. All right, so once your sauerkraut is all nicely seasoned and mixed through together, I want you to put it into a glass jar that is freshly washed. There is no need for sterilization. We want to pack it tightly into a clean jar. Just make sure that you really put it nicely and tightly into the jar. Squeeze as much as you can. As you can see, you've got all the liquid here that I will be adding into the jar. It's very important to have that liquid, and the liquid should cover, and the liquid should cover your cabbage. If it happens that you don't have enough liquid, then don't hesitate to add some salty water to it. But it's extremely important that your cabbage will be covered with liquid. There we go. So I'll make sure that I got the most out of the jar. So now it's important to keep it clean. So I'm gonna remove all these bits and pieces from here. And ideally, I want to use one of my big leaves and put it on the top of it. And this just helps me to hold the cabbage down. There. So there it is. So this process is completed. It's tightly packed. You've got a liquid on the top and the cabbage is submerged in the liquid. That means it can ferment beautifully without getting moldy. So now I am closing it, but still allowing the oxygen to go in. So that's why I'm using these jars. So there's oxygen going in, and that is essential for fermentation to happen. Now, I don't have to do anything to this cabbage anymore because everything is going to happen now by itself. All what I want to do is to make sure that I store it somewhere on my bench safely so I can have a look at it. I can see if there's any mold growing. And also, as you see, I put the jar here, and this is because in the next few days you will see there are bubbles forming, and the liquid that you've got in here will start to, it will look like it's boiling, and there are going to be more liquid, and the liquid will fall down. So if you left it in your bench, it's gonna be very messy. So I make sure that I put it into some sort of container and just watch it. After the boiling process, the cabbage, the liquid will settle, and you can put that liquid back into the jar if you want to, or you just get rid of it. It will take about 2 weeks time till the cabbage is ready. Now, an important note for all my students is watch for the molds. There are so many students that come to me and say, look, my cabbage just got moldy, and I throw it out. And I ask them, what kind of mold was it? What color it was? And they often say it was a gray, white color. I just want to assure you that gray and white molds are safe for human consumption, and they will form on your cabbage as the process goes. It is the colorful molds that you are worried about, so the red and green and black. So what I would do, make sure that if you see any gray and white mold that always forms first, just skip it and get rid of it. But that does not necessarily mean that your cabbage is now all gone. You still can just keep an eye on it and keep it and let it ferment. If you left this white mold, sometimes it encourages other molds to grow, like red mold or green mold, black mold, and those are the poisonous molds for human body, and you don't want to eat that. So if that happens, then you've got to chuck the whole thing out, to throw it out, because it's not gonna be good for you. So just the only thing you have to do is watch for the different color molds, and if you have a white mold, remove it, skip it, and leave it. In terms of probiotics, so sauerkraut produces beautiful amounts of probiotics, and I've learned from Standard Cuts, which is internationally renowned experts on fermented foods, that probiotics that are forming in sauerkraut change the composition and live its own life. So there are different probiotic composition at the age of 2 weeks old sauerkraut. A month later, there are a few different strains of probiotics. So for if you're looking at eating fermented foods, sauerkraut is probably one of the best for getting that diversity of different probiotic strains into your body. So it's probably the number one food for my patients. I strongly recommend it to you. It tests really well and you can do so much with it. The liquid is highly healing to your lining of your intestine, and of course the probiotics are so good for you. Watch my next video to learn more about them. If you want to know more about fermented foods, please visit my blog at dorotatrapp.com or see me at the Lost Art of Fermentation cooking class at Trapp Cooking School, or you can also book 101 session with me. Thank you so much. Bye for now.